Well, good evening, everybody. Goodness me. Thank you for your patience and delaying this just a little bit. I actually set off from Hobby Maker this afternoon at 3:10, and I've literally been in for about 10 minutes. So it's been a bit of a wild journey, but sadly somebody has had a really bad day today because there's been an accident and they shut the M18, which is my road home. So you can imagine it's been a bit chaotic around here. But never mind, I'm here now, and I just think it's nice to just sit and chill for a little bit. John's going to put tea on downstairs, so that's even better. And I've shut Finley out. I've just been watching him staring at himself in the mirror. So he's not quite sure what to make of that. But yeah, it's all good fun. So I hope you've had a good day. I hope you've enjoyed the weather. And let's make a start, shall we? So I've got a tile, of course, and so white one. I've put a little bit of ink around this sort of edge here because this is where I want to focus a little bit of something. Pen, pencil, Tortillon, and I've got some coloured pencils. So let's make a shot. Let's start, shall we? Okay, coming in with pencil first because what I want to do is I'm going to put myself a little mark, not about, I don't know, about 1.5 centimetres, 2 centimetres in, just so I know where I'm aiming for. Okay, so it's about the middle there and a little bit in there. And what I want to do is from that sort of line there, I want to put myself a bit of a bubble in. So I'm just going to sketch it for now. If it's not an exact round, it doesn't matter. You can use something to draw around, but I'm kind of coming in with a little bit by hand, really. There we go. So sketchy. Sometimes it works while doing literally one line, but other times, if you've got a shape to do, putting a few lines down and then sketching in to see where it leads works quite well as well. Okay, there you go. So a bit more of an egg shape, but that's okay. It's absolutely okay. So whilst I've got that, I'm going to double that line up a little bit. So you see now I can come in with a bit more of a shore line. That makes sense. So I can put that in. What we've been up to today then? We've been busy or just chilling? Oh, hi Susan. Oh, and Maureen's there. Thank you for waiting for me. And Sarah, I hope you're feeling better. My goodness, Sarah, I've had a hell of a day driving. Knew it was going to be. Okay, so I'm going to come back from this line. I'm going to put another bubble in. But I'm going to sort of head to that line there. Let's go underneath there. Okay. So again, like kind of sketched. But I'm okay with that. That's fine for this kind of piece. Because we want to create that bit of a shape. Alright, so if I get rid of the bits I don't want. There we go. It doesn't feel like it's 7:15, does it? Because the sun's shining, it's quite light outside. And again, I'm going to double that one. Now here, look, see, I'm going under there. And I'm going under there as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that over. Like so. And then I'm going to follow it round again. Creating that little shape. And bring that along there. So I've got 2 rings. So let's sort of do another one, but this time I'm going to sort of throw it out there and make it a little bit of a different, you see, sort of that kind of thing. I'm still coming to this little cross here, but it's sort of going to be slightly more oval, I suppose. Let's put that in a little bit better so we can see it. Okay. I don't mind if it's not a full bubble, that's okay. As I've said, that's fine. Okay, you see? So I've got a bit more of a bubble shape there. Let's bring that in a bit more. And I'm going to rub out the bits I don't want. You see? And that one in there. Okay, I'm going to leave that one as a single. So happy with that, just to stay as it is for now. And what I want to do now is I want to kind of focus on here. Actually, I think before I do that, you see I've got this space in the middle. I'm going to come in and I'm going to put myself a bit of a swirl in. Now, I don't want it to be too tight because I want to put some writing in there in a little bit. But got that in ready. Okay, let's switch to pen. And I'm going to come in a little bit closer now. See where I got that original cross there? I'm going to come in and I'm going to put two little curved lines so it's covering all of those lines. And then down we go, creating a little bit of shape like that. So let's come from in there and I'm going to come out like that. Actually, go a little bit more. And then here I'm going to come in and I'm going to put myself a bit of a loop. Now I don't want it to be too thin. Same on the other side. Let's do another one. Like so. And then I'm going to sort of, because it's sort of curving this way, that's absolutely fine. But what I'm going to do on the top is I'm going to put this kind of shape. It's more like a thin teardroppy shape. And then I'm going to draw these kind of coming down here. Don't make them too big. So one going slightly behind there as well. And a couple that way. So they don't all have to be exactly matching. That's the idea. And I'm going to come in and put those shapes back to that stem. So looking at my little loops, if you've got space, I'm going to put some little V's in. Like so. Just kind of filling the space in. So a little, like that, look, a little V. If you can't fill it, don't worry about it. Like that. And at the top of these, I'm going to put little V's as well. Okay. So let's have a little look at that. And I'm going to follow this line. It's going to come down underneath here and I'm going to pull it out along here like that. So it's sort of curved in. So let's put another one in. I'm going to come up here this time. And I'm going to put those loops in as before. Again, not too thin there because I want to put those little V's in. So it's going to go over. See, that's going to go under there. And see, I might as well put those V's in. Now we know we're doing it. As we go like that. Okay, and it's going to sort of sit there. And then at the top, one of these sort of thin shapes. And I'm going to do a few coming down here. So again, notice that they're slightly all different directions as well. They're a little bit wonky in places, but that's okay. Okay, I'm going to do another one there, I think. Let's join them. And then little V's on the top, like that. And I'm going to bring a line out there. Okay, so I'm going to come back out with a curve here, and I'm going to sort of do a real sort of thin leaf shape. Let's see if I can get one going in up here as well, so quite long. And then I'm going to come out a little bit, and then it's going to come back down. And let's get one in here as well. Long and out and back down. Okay, I'm just going to thicken those up a little bit. They look a little bit lost, don't they? Let's the line, just thicken them up a bit. And then of course you've got those leaves, so you can bring some of those out as well. So you've got a few more bits and pieces hanging off there. And if you can still see, let's just have a look at that. If you can still see a little bit of space there, I'm going to just bring that in and fill it with ink. So it looks like it's a little bit 3D there. That's what we want. Okay. So now let's have a look at these little ring shapes, shall we? I know they look a little bit scruffy at the minute, but that's okay. It's only a little bit of a guide. So let's have a look at this one here, this bottom one. You see where we've gone over there? And what I'm going to do is put myself some diagonal lines in, like this. So I'm just using those lines as a bit of a guide, putting them in as I go. And just take my time as I go round. See, I'm going over there. Remember, if you need to change the pencil, that's absolutely fine. Remember, that's why it's in pencil, because you can rub it out if you need to. You see, I'm moving it as I'm going around. Just keep it going. Alright, even into those, so I can still see those bits, see? So, and it kind of disappears inside there. You see? Okay, so let's go a little bit closer with this shape then, shall we? Are you ready? Here we go. So what I'm going to do is let's do one that we've got a fall on. So I'm going to go from here to here with a curve. And then I'm going to follow it down, look, and do a curve that way. This is like a fancy letter N. So go back to this one. Curve, letter N. I mean, you could just do bumps on the top and bumps underneath. But if you kind of follow it through and go back over that line again, you're going to get a real nice shape starting. See, so if I start there, look, over, follow the line. But it's entirely up to you if you want to just do little bubbles or little bumps top and bottom. But this just gives you a slightly better curve in your shape there. See, I can come back now and I can sort of do this backwards motion. So it sits there. Let's continue around here. So where was I? I've done that one and that one. Once you sort of get the hang of it, you've done a few, you notice that you're getting a little bit of muscle memory kicking in and it starts to curve itself. I'm trying to sort of keep my hand out the way so you can see what I'm doing each time. Bearing in mind, I did leave the house at 4:45 this morning. So it's been a bit of a long day. But that's okay. I don't mind chilling with all of you. Yeah. It's nice to have a moment, isn't it? And then I can go back down to the chaos. I'm sure John's fed the boys, so it's all good. All right. So I'm kind of just sort of seeing little bits I can do there. So there we go. Look, we've got a little bit of a kind of a rope. Let's have a look closer around there. Okay. So let's have a look at this other one. You see this other one that I've got a double line for. So I'm going to go back in so you can see it. Oh, hi, Wendy. Yeah, I'm just seeing some of the messages. But yeah, lovely to see people. Thank you for coming on. Okay. Never ceases to amaze me how many we're on, actually. It's just amazing, isn't it? All right, you see where we've got this? I'm going to come around and do a backwards letter C. Like that. So I've started at the top of the line, come round and gone to the bottom. And then I'm going to do a little curve like that. So I'm going to do another one. Like that. And a little curve. So I could do another one on the top like that, look. It gives me two. And then I'll go a bit further round and do another. See, that's going underneath. So I'm not trying to do these all sort of in the same distance apart or anything like that. I'm just sort of trying a random way of doing it. So let's put one in there. Look, I'm going to do one in there. So I've followed it round, same shape. See? And then with my pen, I'm going to come in and I'm now going to draw those two lines in. So each little bead is joined by this kind of cord. Follow it round. See, so I'm doing both sides at the same time. I might as well. I'm in that area. Run along into this one. And just sort of bring it round to this one. And I'll don't forget you've got little leaves and things going on here, so you don't really want to be drawing inside there, but still got to keep that line going. Let's have a little look at that. Okay. So we've got one more, and I only kept it as a single. That's because I'm going to put some dots on it. Now, whether you want to do this with a bit of gel pen or whether you want to add some colour, I'm going to keep it simple there and add some little dots, all different sizes, look, as we work our way around. And a couple there, look. So that sort of wanders off in there. Into there. And I'm going to sort of put the line as well, but I'm sort of doing a little bit of a dot dash line rather than a single solid line to give it a little bit of effect. What you've got to think is I'm working out where I've drawn it with pen and where I haven't yet. Okay. All right. So let's have a look at this swirl here. And I think sometimes it's nice to incorporate words and have sentiments, but using a swirl, I don't think we've ever drawn around a swirl before. And I think it's quite poignant today, being that, as I say, somebody's had a way worse day than me. And I think, sometimes in life we have to just take each day and every moment as it comes, and just sort of cherish it a little bit. I don't think we all, well, I don't enough. I don't stop. But, having that moment. And this is why it's great to do these, because I know that they help you, but they help me too. And it's nice to sort of tangle with people, isn't it? It's nice to do this together. Okay, so every moment matters. And what I'm going to do is at the end of these little shapes, I'm just going to add some little dots. So I'm not going to keep this swirl as it is. It's just going to be the dots there. Okay, let's have a little look at this, if it'll let me. There you go. Okay. So you see, it's sort of, you've got to really sort of twist it and have a look at this, which I like. So let's have a look at, I've got a bit of space here, so I'm going to sort of bring it in and put some little wavy lines. You see, slightly dotty dashed. And onto there. It all helps, doesn't it? It's just nice to have something a little bit different. And as sort of simplistic as this one is, it's really nice to draw, and you could take elements from it and maybe change the flowers, add a few extra bits and pieces in there. See that one I'm going to have going behind. A few little dots and dashes there. And then sort of, let's have a look around the sort of top end here. Let's put a couple of little flourishes in. I'm going to sort of come up, look, and I'm going to come back down, a bit like the leaf. I'm going to fill that bit in. So up, down, fill that bit in. Having that little bit of darkness just changes it a little bit. There you go, one there, look. Let's put one in there. And one up there. Okay, so I'm going to come in now with, let's get rid of some of these pencil lines that we don't need. Just make sure, of course, that your pen's dry before you do this, and we'll see what I've remembered to draw in pen and what I haven't. Let's get rid, see now, just watch your dots there. Let's get rid of that. Okay, all right, so let's get rid of them. Okay, so first things first, just a bit, let's get rid of all the pencil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a bit of pencil to shade first. I'm going to stick with my mechanical pencil for this one because this is quite fine, and I have got a B lead in, so it is going to give me a little bit of blending, but it means I can be a little bit more detailed, look. So I'm going to go around the inside there. Just following it round. See, I'm sort of doing little zigzags. And this is where you think, oh, I haven't done that and it doesn't look very neat. It doesn't matter, look, because we're going to shade it. You see, just keep moving it as you go. You don't have to worry too much about trying to keep it exactly neat. There we go. See, all the way around. Up into these little bits. And here I'm going to add a little bit to each side. And then I'm going to choose, I think I'm going to stay with the bottom. I'm going to do the bottom of that one there. Look, I'm going to go up a little bit. So it's giving it a little bit of shadow underneath. I'm not going to do both sides because they're quite thin. And I don't want to sort of overdo it because it'll just end up that you don't get your little highlight. So one side's fine. But I'm sticking with the same one once I've decided. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Our tortillon it. So I've got a nice fine point on this one. So I know we all have tortillons at various levels of sharpness or pointedness. So this one I've gone for one because they're quite small, you see. So it's a little bit of shape in there. Oh, this works its way along. And I'm trying to keep a little bit on the end. See, with no tortillon action at all. Soften these off. Because that light and dark's going to give it a little bit more of a sense of 3-dimension. And sort of follow it round. Okay. That one as well. And it sort of wanders off in there. So whilst I've got a bit of the pencil on, I'm going to come down here. Look, I'm going to give that a little bit of like a ghost shadow. Where I've got little bubbles. Just sort of, and then on the inside, as it goes round there, again, just give it a little bit of it looks like a bubble. And on the inside there, look, see, so it's just giving it a little bit of, makes it look like it's slightly lifted up. So it's on the outside there and on the inside there. Okay, let's get a bit of colour. So I'm going to come in with, I think I'm just going to use one green. Let's have a look. I'm going to go with deep green. So I'm not going to try and blend this or anything. Just about getting some colour in there. What I am going to do though is I'm going to get a little bit lighter as I go towards the edge. Look. See? I'll bring a bit of white in a minute. So it's a bit darker there and ease off as you work your way down. And there. Ease off. Okay. Oh, I never did this with my tortillon, did I? There you go. Leave the light in the middle. So where's my white? Here we go. So I say I'm not going to blend. I'm just going to bring that white in and just fill that edge. See how it changes it? But it's not particularly blended it. I've kind of just gone over the top with it. Okay. And I'm going to bring a touch of that. Not that one. I've lost my green. A touch of that green at the bottom of those loops. So just at the bottom, like that. And then the white again. Just pull it up a little bit. See, just a little bit. And a little bit of, let's have a look, mid-rose. Being that I've got this kind of colour, I've sort of matched it a little bit. Ooh, or maybe not, because I haven't got my sharpener. Okay, Sanntangle then. Sanntangle red. That'll work as well. Next colour up. So a little bit of pencil on there. Like so. And I'm going to do a little bit on these beads as well. So I'm just going to pick a little bit at the bottom there. Okay. And again, once I've decided what side I'm going to do, I'm sticking with that side. And then I'm going to bring my light rose in and add a little bit of pink in there. So again, I've not completely filled it. A little bit of work into this bit. Into those. You see, I'm sort of moving it. I've gone over the top of the rose, mid-rose, and I'm just pulling it out a little bit. And then white again. But notice I've got a bit of green on my white, so I just want to take that off. It's not enough to use a sharpener, but I'm taking that off a bit. And then around we come. I don't want to contaminate that pink with a bit of green. As lovely as the green is, I don't want it in my pink. Let's see, just add a little bit on there like so. Okay, so we've got that little bit at the top, haven't we, where we did that little V shape. So I'm going to come in with something a little bit darker there. A purple gem. And I'm going to add that in. You could use your black pen for this if you wanted to. But I want to just make it a little bit warmer into there. Let's have a little look at that. Okay, almost done. Just going to bring my pencil in just for a little while, and I just want to add a little bit of pencil really lightly, you know, just around those words there, like so. And a little bit on, I'm going to go on the right of these shapes here, not too close. And Tortillon, so just nice and gentle. I'm going to give this a little bit of shadow. Just swirl it, take your time. I kind of thank everybody for watching today. Of course, it's Sewing Street's been very busy. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you're all getting into your sewing and things as well. And I'm going to finish those projects, of course. But I will do some little videos and try and get things finished so you can see how they go together. But, all right. Okay. So, looking at that, last thing to do is a bit of a signature. I know, a nice short and sweet one, but sometimes just doing one that's got a little bit of interest in there, something a bit different makes it unique, doesn't it? It's got some lovely little flowers sort of budding there, and that little poignant 3 words in the middle is really interesting, especially, you know, after today and that busy drive home. So I hope you've all had a better evening than me. I'm going to go and chill out for a little bit now as John's cooking our tea. I'm going to go and fuss my little boys. That's my dogs, not my boys, my dogs. So I hope you have a good one, everybody, and I'll catch you on Friday for our next tile. I will try and fit the diary in. I know a couple of you have already done that. You've shamed me into getting myself in gear to do it. So I will do a little video on the May diary challenge this week, and I have picked a name out for the April winner. I will get to that. I do apologise. That's a job for tomorrow, I think, when I've had a good night's sleep. So take care, everybody. Have a good one, and I'll catch you soon. Okay, bye.